From Studio A at 1 Biloxi Square in Fort Worth, Texas, this is the Grandpa and Pappy Show. Here we go again, or at least we hope we're going to go again. Welcome in, everyone, to the Grandpa and Pappy Show. If this is your first time, I'm old Grandpa. This here's Pappy.
Young Pappy.
And we are having a little discussion amongst us. And before we get into our topic today, which is the American spirit and much, much more, I have something I'm going to say here that I got to get off my chest. Our program number 182 that dealt with vaccination or termination was taken down by YouTube because it violated their community standards and not following CDC protocol. Now, this is absolute BS to me because we didn't talk about anything except how Americans are feeling about having to either get a vaccination or face termination. We did not discuss medication. We didn't talk about vacation. We didn't even talk about masturbation.
Or constipation.
Talked about the subject that was at hand, and I'm very disappointed that YouTube, of all people, would take down that program because it was a good show and people gave us their great opinions on what they felt, both good and bad. So it wasn't just one-sided. Yep. So I'm very disappointed with YouTube, and hopefully we have filed a complaint against that about reinstating it, and we'll see how that goes, Pappy.
Well, wish in one hand, you know what to do in the other, I imagine. It's I'm not disappointed. I'm plumb pissed off about it.
I was too. I was too.
Yeah, thank you, Shirley Mills, for pointing that out to me.
Absolutely. She is the one that made us aware.
You made me gulp my tequila when I read that. And that's a no-no.
Yeah. But I tell you what,
all
folks,
these community standards and violations and all that, it's pure and simple.
And if you think I'm going to back off,
liberatism.
Read the shirt. Like John Wayne said,
the hell I won't.
The hell I won't.
So,
and that's where I got it at the John Wayne Experience down in the stockyards. So,
that's right.
Anyway, enough of that. But I just am so angry that people's voices are being cut off right and left now, and you really are losing your freedom of speech.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And by the way, to all our listeners out there, we are working on it. K-Bird is
right on top of it.
Yeah. She's going through the pecking order, seeing what the hell the problem is, you know. So.
Well, that's enough of that. Let's talk about the program we got today. We got a couple of subjects we're going to be tackling today. One by Ron Harper, which we'll be talking about here after a little bit about your solution to get people back to work in America.
That
was a good question by Ron Harper, and we'll talk about that after a little bit. But first of all, we're going to tackle the subject of has America really lost the America spirit?
Your thoughts?
I tell you what, everything that's going on in Washington and things like this, I can see how the American spirit will be dimmed, shall we say? But I think there's enough fighting spirit.
And that's putting it in a good way.
Yeah.
I think it's just a little distorted because of the current administration and what's going on. They've been trying to do this for years. You know, this New World Order and all this crap. I think it's distorted, but I don't think it can't be rekindled.
Right.
Entirely.
Right.
The way it used to be as we as Americans know it.
Correct.
So.
Yeah. But we asked you guys what you thought. Have we lost the American spirit? And you guys had some good answers for us. Let's get right to it.
Dive right in.
Tony Haha said, I believe the spirit of America is still there.
Yeah.
We are in much need of a true patriotic leaders to stand behind who have the guts to make things happen, not to just jaw about it. Now,
Boom.
that is hitting the nail on the head.
Well said, brother. Marion Parker says she hopes it is still alive, although things playing out today in our country could make one wonder. I know it does me.
Boy, it does.
Whatever happened to the days where we started each school day reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, or we proudly stood and sang our national anthem? If we don't start teaching our kids better, that spirit may soon fade away to the past.
And she's absolutely correct.
Yeah, it's been heading that way for a while.
Lord, Paul Edgar told us we have a president and vice president that absolutely hate America, and they show it every day. They are both being led by people that also hate America. Roger Gilbride agreed, saying, with such leaders directing our country, I can see how we could lose our spirit.
Yeah.
And he's correct.
Well, it's all about division. I mean, you get even with the same even Republican versus Republican. You get them divided and pissed off at one another. There goes the spirit out the window. You know?
Yeah.
Marcus Talley said on YouTube that the greatest mistake our country ever made was to put Biden in the office of president. His efforts to coddle a left-wing extremist is hurting our country each and every day.
Amen.
Until we get someone in there who has the courage to make the tough decisions that will better our country, that American spirit will just be a footnote in the history books.
Man, that's using some big words, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like confabulation and one of the big words.
Confabulation,
I like that. And to extend it out a little bit, it'd be just like everything else in the history books, soon down the road to be stricken completely. So,
yeah. And there's some homeowners associations around our country that will not let the residents living in that particular area fly American flags.
Yeah. You saw what the Trumpster did about that, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He built a hill. That way his flagpole was not over 30 feet tall. So.
Hey, I forgot about that. That's true.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
He sure did.
That's pretty slick.
Mm-hmm. Emily Pritchett told us, no, we haven't lost the spirit. It all hinges on perseverance. We must start listening to one another with open hearts and open minds. Yeah. Michael Collier said, I think we're doing that now, but both sides don't want to entertain any ideas from the other group, thus making for an impossible impasse, which is you were saying.
Yeah. Bob Baker told us the spirit of America is liberty. As our government grows bigger, our liberties grow smaller. I don't believe we've lost the spirit of liberty, but we seem to be losing the will to fight for it. And that I'll agree with.
Amen.
Mike Perry says that Bob Baker took the words right out of my mouth, and I couldn't agree more. Well said, Bobby.
Bob needs to get on this show. He's a great philosopher. He always has some really good stuff to say.
Most good fishermen are.
Well, you have time sitting out there in the middle of the lake. You can think, you can contemplate.
Conjugate.
There you go. Jim Krause says the spirit of America is that drive to make a better life for ourselves, right, to enjoy the freedom to live our lives as we choose, and to be ready to defend our freedoms against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Wake up, America.
And that's well said, Jim. That is the principality of what the Constitution was written for.
Exactly.
Exactly everything you just outlined.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Schomburg says it means united shared values, and yes, it's gone forever, which I disagree with. Christy Moore said, I can agree somewhat with that, but I don't believe it's gone forever. I can only pray that more and more people will realize what a great country we have and start appreciating it more. Mm-hmm. We cannot sustain freedom and liberty if people are not willing to stand up and fight for what is right.
That's exactly correct.
Well said.
We have talked about that very thing so many times, Pappy.
We have.
I mean, not only sitting here at the studios, but at the field office, too, many times.
That's where we solve all our problems, at the field office.
Well, yes. Yes.
And create a few, too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Our friend John Bossy told us that the spirit of America is our freedom and independence. Sadly, both are being eroded by those in control of our government who want complete and total power. Mike Thomas said, amen, brother. Amen.
That's about the size of it. Charlie George told us the spirit of America is the strength of its citizens, which seems to be a rarity these days.
Yeah.
Our freedoms disappear the longer we have those who refuse to take a stand for what they believe, regardless of the cost.
That's exactly correct.
That's true.
Okay, Bird, I'm going to put you on the spot here in a minute. After I read this one, I'd like to have your take on it and see what you think. She's a deep thinker at times.
She is.
I mean, it just, sometimes it's hard to keep up with what she's thinking.
Sometimes I'm scared to find out what she's thinking.
Yeah. Thomas Morrison concluded our discussion by posting on YouTube that the spirit of America will not die as long as people have it in their hearts and are willing to stand up for it. Now, this includes people of all races, color, or religion. Why do people try to come to this country? It's because of the freedom, liberties, and opportunities available to those who want to pursue it.
Yep.
Key word right there.
Bingo.
Want to pursue it.
How bad do you want it?
That's right. We need to all appreciate that and thank God in heaven for that chance.
K-Bird?
I couldn't say it any better. Good job, Thomas.
Yeah.
What do you think, Special K?
Well, to me, I don't think the spirit of America is gone at all. And I think that the reason that it's kind of
Faded.
invisible
Yeah.
is because all they put on the major news networks, with the exception of a couple, is the other side. And because they've taken that voice, I mean, if you look, most of the United States don't get a voice. It's just California, New York, Chicago, all of those blue states are having a voice at this point, and they are killing the American spirit.
Well, that and the media, the combination of the two is
That's
just
right.
distorting the
And,
hell out of everything.
You know, Jack and I went to a high school football game the other night, and I was
in Lake Worth
in
here.
Lake Worth,
Yeah.
Lake Worth High School to watch a friend of our son play football. And the pre-game, they had a parachuter who was a double amputee,
A veteran.
Yeah.
a veteran that parachuted with the American flag
And the game ball.
And the game
and
ball.
the game ball. And to me, just getting out and going to these local venues and seeing some of this, the American spirit is there.
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
it's absolutely there. It just doesn't, they don't show it
That's
enough
exactly correct. That's
in the
exactly
media.
correct.
Well
And
said.
I will give kudos to Lake Worth High School because all during that football game, when there was a break in the action, they would ask different members, like, if you are a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, please stand and be recognized. And they played the Marine Corps hymn for them.
Wow.
And then they did it all through the game. United States Army, United States Air Force, United States Navy, United States Coast Guard.
How cool is that?
That was absolutely the coolest thing. And my hat is off to Lake Worth High School. Great job.
It was.
And another thing that that really impressed me, other than the double amputee veteran that landed right at the 50-yard line. Boy, he came down on his butt.
Nailed it.
He did.
Yeah.
And all of the players went out to help him gather that parachute and the flag, and they helped him get that together. And then they all gathered on the visitors' sideline. They had a huge flag that they unfurled on the field to play the national anthem, and players from both teams held up that flag.
Isn't that funny?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved it.
I mean, not funny, but yeah.
Yeah, if
I
you
mean,
ask
isn't
me,
it funny that two teams can come together, two opposing teams can come together like that? That's,
And Lake Worth won.
yeah,
of course.
big time. They
because
surely
of,
did. It was a
because
good
of
game.
Stephanie's studly little boy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mark.
Well,
Mark,
I tell
Mark
you
is
what,
tough cookie.
that's a great question, and we had some great answers on it. Have we lost the American spirit? And as you can hear, there's some concerns, but most of the people don't think.
It's time for the silent majority to stop being silent.
I think that was my topic.
Yeah,
Just
that's
step
exactly
up.
correct.
Just step up.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about your solution to get people back to work in our great country. And this brought on some really good things.
Oh, and by the way, you posted that video of that veteran.
I did.
Floating in. Is it still up on our show page?
I don't know if it is or not. If not, we can put it back
Yeah,
on.
repost it. Y'all, you guys need to see that. It'll touch
very,
you.
very
It'll
heart-stirring.
touch you. It brought a big old crocodile tear to my eyes. So.
And he was descending, into the field, and Lee Greenwood's America song was
Proud to
playing.
be American,
Yeah.
And that weren't no small flag that boy was dragging down
it
from the
was
sky.
not. It was
And he
not.
jumped out of a helicopter.
Yeah, he jumped out of a helicopter.
Which I thought was almost like base, parachuting.
Yeah.
Imagine he was a bad hombre.
I'll bet he was. But boy, I
probably
tell you
still
what,
is.
the crowd went crazy for this
Brought
guy.
tears to my eyes.
Yeah, I did too. Put a lump in my throat. I ain't gonna
Gave me
lie
a little
about it.
bit of hope.
Yep.
It did. It certainly did. When we come back, we're going to talk about your ideas and your solutions about getting people back to work when the Grandpa and Pappy Show continues right after this.
Hey, did we do that termite inspection?
That discount agent said we didn't need to.
And we are back. We are back, and I tell you, if you are just joining us and you missed the very first of today's show, I'm challenging YouTube to grow a set and be the place where people can post things and have their voices heard. Don't yield to the pressures of the left.
Hell no.
Don't do that.
And this show is the one platform in the podcast world that'll allow you to do that.
That's right.
I mean, if it comes down to us having to find another platform, so be it.
So be it. We might have to do that.
Well, I'm looking.
because to me, your voice out there is what makes this country go round and round.
And
we will not silence it.
we are listening, by God.
We certainly are.
So belt it out.
Well, today's topic on the second segment, your solution to get people back to work, was posed to us
Ron
by
Harper.
Ron Harper. I think this is the second time he's posed a question to us.
Yeah, great topic, Ron.
Yeah, it's been a few months, Ron, and thank you very much.
What would be your solution there, amigo?
Okay.
Or your solution?
Hire seniors.
Yeah, you can always hire senior citizens.
Cut 'em.
They always show up for work and don't bitch a lot.
Cut the lazy bastard's allowance off. That'll get them out mowing the yards. And
Well,
whatever.
as you can hear from some of our viewer comments we're fixing to read to you, I agree with a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of people are having their hand in the pocket of the U.S. government and taking out the money and taking it for free and deciding, hell, I'm not going to go work. But these are the same people that bitch about not having service at restaurants.
And wanting
because you can't
reparations
get-
and all that crap.
You can't get service at a restaurant because nobody wants to work.
That's right.
And you are the people spending the government's money and doing all the bitching.
Drive down any main boulevard and really
Any
take a look in the windows and you'll see tons of help wanted signs.
hiring now.
That's right.
Yeah. I've been tempted to just walk in somewhere and just say, hey, I'm ready to go to work.
They'll put your butt to work.
I know
guarantee
they
you.
probably would. I just turned 70, but I'm still quite gamey.
I'm trying to get my double dip on, not because it's free, but because by God I earned it.
There you go.
So
Well, let's take a look at what you guys have to say about your solutions to get people back to work in our great country. Bob Baker had a simple solution. He says stop the government subsidies,
Bingo.
raise the minimum wage, and let the market correct itself. Oh, and turn off the news.
Yeah.
Our buddy Hoss Huggins from Tyler agreed, saying, yep.
I'd like to hear his full opinion on that. I bet he's got something to say.
Boy, you know Hoss. I mean, he's going to have everything to say.
Leon Martin from California said it's simple: pay rent or get evicted. Sandy Layla Armistead says to stop handing out free money, pay a little better, and only help those that are trying to help themselves. Stephen James said stop the jab and mask mandates.
I think I typed it the way he said it. Stephen, I think you're saying you meant to say job and mask mandates. But
no, the jab, but probably vaccines.
oh yes,
Jab
okay,
and
now I see.
Get a little jab in the
Stop
butt.
I'm
the
sorry,
mandatory
Stephen.
vaccine and the mandatory masks is what
I'm
it's
sorry,
meaning.
Stephen. I stand
I
corrected.
wish they'd make a job mandate. It'd sure help our economy, wouldn't it?
It certainly would.
I would vote for that.
Damon Deaton told us to stop the excessive unemployment payments, as in set things back to the way they were prior to the epidemic.
Right?
Tunihaha said to just get rid of all the Democratic libs in Congress. Well, that would help.
How do you feel? How do you really feel, Tony? That'd be a good start. Mark Radisson said, I agree with curtailing all of the free money they're handing out. Healthy and able-bodied people should have to work for their money. I can see helping out our elderly and veterans who have earned that right. The answer is simple. Americans need to get off their entitled asses and get a job. You will appreciate what you have 1,000% more if you do.
Is that putting it just right in the nutshell?
It's hitting the nail on the head there, Mark.
telling you.
Well said, buddy.
I love it. I love it. You folks out there, y'all have some of the greatest answers because they're
always do.
logical.
Yeah, they've got
Common sense. Yes. James Graham said to do away with welfare. Jeff Potke says, nope, free money is free. The actual simple answer is to give people enough hours. I work at the Dollar General for $14 an hour, but only 12 hours a week. Tell me how that works for rent.
Well, Jeff, there is no free money. It's coming right out of your pocket
Well,
because you work.
Maybe he meant it is not free, because it isn't free.
Yeah,
Free
No,
money,
it comes right out of our tax
taxpayers
dollars.
are paying for it.
Well, yeah,
that's true.
Comes right out of our Social Security
I mean,
fund.
I'm not second guessing him. I'm just saying free money is not free.
No, there's nothing
Yeah,
free.
well, the next guy had a solution for him.
You talking about old Lance Forrester?
I am.
He told Jeff you were working somewhere that is only hiring part-time except for managers. I'd either seek a full-time position or work 2 or 3 part-time jobs to make ends meet. Don't settle, thrive.
Good job.
It may start slow, however, everyone starts from the bottom. Money is not free to the people who are paying in. You're basically being cared for because other people are willing to work harder than you.
Ooh. That was a comeback.
Do what?
That was a comeback.
That was a good comeback, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's one way of looking at it, I guess.
Yeah. Leslie Rosenthal asked, what was the reason they quit working? Ronnie Westfield saw this question and answered on YouTube. He said, I can tell Leslie why they quit. It was because of the COVID-19 pandemic, either real or imagined. The country went into lockdown. Businesses closed their doors and had to lay off employees. Workers were quarantined in their homes for weeks, and they started receiving money from the government to live on. Now, with things opening up again, a lot of lazy-ass people had rather stay home and eat and drink and be lazy than getting up and going out and finding a job.
Yep.
That's the reason they quit working, and they fell right into the hands of the way the left-wing socialists want it.
That is very profound. That's very well said.
Boy, now, is
Very
that,
true.
that is the absolute truth.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly. And to close out this second segment on this week's Grandpa and Pappy Show, coming in from the man who posed the topic himself, Ron Harper, who posed this question, told us the reason I asked this question is because I have some friends who absolutely will not go out and find a job. You cannot pass a place anymore without seeing a help wanted sign out front. I've asked them before, why don't they go find a job? And I've been told flatly, why? I can sit here and collect enough money to live on, and I don't have to put up with the hassles. I don't know what the real solution is going to be, but we'd better come up with one real soon, or our economy, not to mention our country, is going to fall. Greed can be an evil thing.
It certainly can.
That's well said, Ron.
Greed is one of the 7 deadly sins.
It is.
Hold on, let me turn your mic on.
It sure is.
I just said greed is one of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, that's true.
And we see that in the big tech companies.
Yeah.
Sure, it's all about that dollar.
It's all about greed.
Yep. Well, and it's been prophesied, God, longer than we've been around, that's the way it was going to end,
Yeah, it's It's a sad thing. It is a sad thing, and
all that fire falling from the sky. They call them missiles and bombs.
yes,
Yeah.
they certainly do. They certainly do.
It's crazy.
Well, let's take a look at some of the viewer comments that we got in this week.
Okay.
Michael Elliott watched our show about the Afghanistan pullout on YouTube and told us this is the biggest embarrassment the United States has ever had.
The second one.
I am a former member of the military who served 2 tours over there, and for what? To have a gutless president turn tail and run? I and many other veterans are really pissed.
Stay that way, brother.
Absolutely.
That's right. You know, and I think it's the second biggest mistake. The first mistake was putting the jackass who made the decision, which he brought up in the Oval Office.
Milley or
That's
Biden?
the way it is.
That's right.
That's the way it is.
Tommy Goldsmith said, I just watched your show on Where Were You on 9/11. Man, I don't think I'll ever forget it. I'm a retired firefighter and was supposed to be off that day. Our captain called every shift back in to work just in case a target in our area was hit. I remember how much we were on edge and the tears we shed knowing our fellow firefighters in New York had perished. Yeah, I'll never forget.
Boy, I'll bet for first responders, firemen, policemen.
Oh, God, man. I'll never forget it.
I'll never forget the sights and the sounds.
It changed my whole life.
Well, it did mine too.
Well, all of America's, I guess, yeah.
R.D. McAllister said, I've been binge watching some of your shows while being homesick. A friend turned me onto it, and I like what you do. The last show I watched was Socialism Over Capitalism.
Yeah.
Wow, I enjoyed the views from your audience. They were spot on.
Ain't it so?
Ain't it so?
They always are, R.D. And finally, to close out our viewer comments, Paula216 said on Twitter she enjoyed our show on pet peeves. Some views were really funny. I would tell you mine, but I'm only allowed so many words. Keep it up, guys. And we intend to, Paula. We appreciate you being on board with us.
It's the bad thing about Twitter. You only get 32 words.
I know.
So she's absolutely right. Thank you, Paula.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Hey, if you have an idea, a suggestion, or a topic that you'd like our listeners to try to tackle for you, give you some answers, really simple to do like Ron Harper did.
Yep.
You can always go on our Gmail account at grandpaandpappy at gmail.com.
That's an easy way to do it, bro.
Yes, sir, it is. Or
you can simply hit us up on our show website page directly by keying in www.grandpaandpappy.com. That's grandpa, the letter N, pappy.com, where you'll see a big old red button just like that one. Don't be afraid to push it. It won't cost you a penny to subscribe. We work by numbers, and while you're there, you can have access to Twitter. You can have access to our Facebook show page. You can have access to seeing pretty pictures of me and my compadre here.
yeah, right.
You can pretty much find out anything and what we're all about right there.
We might even throw a picture in there of K-Bird. You never can tell.
Oh, God.
And you can
That would scare everybody to death.
You can also go on our Grandpa and Pappy Facebook group page, where you'll see most of the suggestions, opinions, and ideas before they hit the air.
Some of them unedited with dirty words and stuff. That's the ones I look for. What you got, K-Bird?
I just wanted to, before we leave, on behalf of the Grandpa and Pappy show, express my condolences to the family of Bobby Hearn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who passed away.
A very dear friend of ours.
Yes.
Yesterday morning.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And just want them all to know that all of you are in our prayers.
And we're thinking about you.
Yes,
absolutely.
We are. Deb and the rest of your family, anything we can do for you on our behalf, don't hesitate to let us know.
Just let us know. God rest his soul.
You'll be missed, Bobby.
Absolutely.
R.I.P., brother.
We always end our show by telling you, and it's even so much more important now because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Reach out and hug your kids and let them know you love them.
Take care of one another. We're just about all we've got left, I would think. And let them babies know that they're well loved on behalf of the Grandpa and Pappy Show, too. By God.
Absolutely. Until we see you again, folks, please take care of yourself and be safe. God bless you. God bless America. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye. over, don't you?